Welcome to my channel. I'm absolutely amazed. I've got almost 400 subscribers now. I don't know how this is working, but I'm amazed by it, and that's for sure. I thank each and every one of you that has subscribed. I thank all of you that have liked my videos, that have commented on them, and I especially thank those of you who are sharing them, because that's part of the reason why I'm experiencing the growth that I am. Today I want to talk about fake news. We hear a lot about fake news these days, and I'm going to show you a story that I ran across today and show you how they produce fake news. This is a story about a sheriff's deputy who pulled over a speeder in Georgia for going 100 miles an hour. 100 miles an hour in a 60 zone. And turns out that the guy is apparently African American descent, and he ended up being killed. And so now all the liberals are in total outrage about it. Now, the first thing I want to do is show you the video.
Step out! Get out! Get out! Put your hands back here.
I ain't doing shit.
Put your damn hands back here.
Who are you?
Staff Sergeant Aldridge, Sheriff's Office.
My name is Al Wade.
I don't care. Step to the rear of this vehicle.
In the name of who?
In the name of the law of the state of Georgia. Step back here now or you're getting tased.
I'm going. Watch me now.
Put your hands on the back of that truck.
Do you see that?
Put your hands on the back of that truck.
The back of the truck.
Both hands. Turn around. 34, can you send me another unit? One non-compliant.
Your name is Officer who?
Staff Sergeant Aldridge with the Camden County Sheriff's Office.
Who county?
Camden County. Put your hand behind your back.
Do I have a warrant? Wait. No. Excuse me.
Either put your hands behind your back or you're getting tased. I'm telling you that right now.
Why am I getting tased?
Because you are under arrest for speeding and reckless driving.
I'm not driving. Nobody was hurt. How was I speeding?
You passed me doing 100 miles an hour.
Okay, so that's a speeding ticket, right?
Sir, tickets in the state of Georgia are criminal offenses.
I don't have a ticket in Georgia.
You do now?
Why?
You passed me doing 100 miles an hour.
And what? Am I going
Hands
to jail?
behind your back. Yes, you are going to jail. Hands behind your back.
Now, right there, he tased the guy. And look at him. He doesn't even react.
Put your hands behind your back.
In fact, he attacks the officer. You can hear the taser still going off. Now he pulls his gun.
Yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch.
And he shot him.
Stay down! Stay down! Stay down! Camden, shots fired! Shots fired, Camden! Stay down! Do not get up! Stay down! Stay down!
Now that truck that you saw over on the right was a Brinks truck that was backing up to assist the officer. Now, you've seen the video, you've seen exactly what happened, and so has the media. But what are the media reporting? Oh, well, they just forget to mention that he fought with the officer. The Southern Poverty Law Center, what a joke they are. No one, quote, no one should be shot to death during a traffic stop. Well, that's obviously false. Look at the guy. He was fighting with the officer. He had his arm around the officer's head. He was trying to choke him out. And you're not supposed to do anything? The officer's supposed to just take it? The brutal and unjust violence black people have endured at the hands of police must end. Enough is enough. You know what I say? Stop resisting. Stop fighting. Stop resisting and you won't get shot. It's that damn simple. So now they're calling for investigations. The ACLU of Florida said he was incarcerated for a crime he didn't commit for 16 years before getting his life snatched from him by a cop. Modern policing is rooted in slavery and rotten to the core. Oh my God, where do you even begin? Look, I'll put the link to this in the comments, in the description. You can read it for yourself. It's an absolute joke, but the point I'm trying to get to is that the media often doesn't tell the truth by omitting important facts, and that's what they've done. Reuters says officials on Wednesday released video of the traffic stop, so they know, they've seen it, and physical confrontation that ended with a sheriff's deputy in Georgia shooting a black man to death at point-blank range. That's because the man had his arm around his neck. He was trying to choke him out. That's why he got shot at point-blank range. The way they word it, it sounds like he just walked up to the guy and shot him. It's just crazy. CBS News calls it a scuffle. A scuffle. He tased the guy and it didn't even impact him. Okay? But I want to get to my greater point, which is that the news media has been lying to you, as far as I know, for my entire life, and I'm going to prove it to you. Long before some of you were born, we had the Vietnam War, and there was a man who was a news anchor for CBS. He was called the most trusted man in America. His name was Walter Cronkite. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you something. You've probably seen this before. You've at least read about it in history books. This is Walter Cronkite on the CBS Evening News talking about the Tet Offensive in Vietnam.
For it seems now more certain than ever that the bloody experience of Vietnam is to end in a stalemate. But it is increasingly clear to this reporter that the only rational way out then will be to negotiate, not as victors, but as an honorable people who lived up to their pledge to defend democracy and did the best they could.
Good old Walter. And Lyndon B. Johnson, who was president at the time, famously said, "If I've lost Walter, I've lost the nation," and he decided not to run for office again. That was Walter Cronkite on the CBS Evening News reporting on the Tet Offensive in Vietnam. If you don't know what the Tet Offensive is, go look it up on the web. Maybe I'll talk about it someday. But it was an absolute disaster for the communists. They lost over 40,000 men in that conflict, in that one offensive. And over the next several months, they lost a total of almost 100,000 men. Okay? It was a complete military disaster for the North, for the communists. But because of people like Walter Cronkite reporting the way he did, they turned it into a victory, a propaganda victory. Now, this is Walter Cronkite in Vietnam during the Tet Offensive a few days before he made this broadcast. Listen to what he said.
In February 1968, the Communist Viet Cong launched nationwide attacks on more than 100 cities in South Vietnam. All of these attacks ended in the disastrous military defeat for the Communists. On February 14, 1968, Walter Cronkite reported from Vietnam that the Tet Offensive was an overwhelming victory for America and South Vietnam.
First and simplest, the Viet Cong suffered a military defeat. Its missions proved suicidal. If they intended to stay in the cities as a negotiating point, they failed at that. The Vietnamese army reacted better than even its most ardent supporters had anticipated. There were no defections from its ranks, as the Viet Cong apparently had expected, and the people did not rise to support the Viet Cong as they also were believed to have expected.
Unfortunately, few Americans saw this broadcast, so they never knew that Tet was a major U.S. victory. Walter Cronkite.
Why didn't they know about it? Because CBS never aired it. Think about that. Most of the crimes that the press, the media commits is by omission. They just leave some of the details out. You know, there's a guy that won the Pulitzer Prize for the New York Times reporting on the Soviet Union, and he said there were no people killed. There was over 60 million people killed in Russia. But he didn't report that. And he won the Pulitzer Prize. So if you think fake news is something new, if you think it's just recent, if you think this is something that we haven't had for a long time, think again. It's been going on for a long, long time. The media is not on the side of the country. They're not on the side of patriotism. They're not on the side of freedom. They are not on the side of truth. They are on the side of Marxism. And they're trying to lead this country down the primrose path to a dictatorship. They're working very hard at it. And they're getting lots of help from the politicians and from all the people on the left, the ones that are sold out to Marxism. And you're the one who's being scammed. You're not being told the truth. You're not being told the facts. You've never been told them. My entire life, I've never been told the facts. I don't watch any national news TV. I don't read any national news reporting except to criticize it, because they're lying constantly, mostly by omission, sometimes by commission, and sometimes by pure stupidity. I did a blog post years ago about a report of a meteor strike in Washington State by the Associated Press that was completely false, and they withdrew it several hours later after they discovered it was false. But they published it, and it got published in newspapers. And people went, "Oh, wow, man, I can't believe it. A meteor hit in Washington State," without giving it a second's thought. Well, what would the impact of a meteor be? You see, you cannot trust the media. You have to get the facts for yourself. You got to go to the primary sources. You got to look it up. You got to find it out. You got to find sources that you can trust, that you know will tell you the truth. Because it's not the media. It's certainly not the national media. And many times it's not the local media. So do your own research. Pay attention to what's going on. And think for yourself. And as always, I pray that you will prosper and be in health and live a long life, and that God will keep you safe. I pray that He will do the same for every person that you love. And I pray that you will be anxious for nothing, but in all things, with prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, you will let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God that passes all understanding will keep your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. This is the Vietnam Era Vet, out.